Want to find out what is the best build for the raid? Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you why this is the best build and why you should definitely adapt this if you're trying to complete the raid Operation Dark Hours. Esava, this is LaserBolt, and today we're going to be talking about the best build for the raid. And wait a minute, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are probably saying, Laser, how do you know this is going to be the best raid build if we haven't played the raid? Well, the reason why this is going to be the best raid build is because of its versatility. Now, there are different sets of builds that I'm going to be working on. For example, let me give you guys a sneak peek. I'm going to be giving you guys a medic build. I'm going to be giving you guys a tank build, a DPS build, and I'm also going to be giving you guys an explosive build. All those builds are going to be coming out very shortly, but I want to know from you guys in the comment section down below which ones out of all of those would you like to see, and if I didn't mention one, let me know which one you guys would like to see. So that sounds like something you guys are definitely interested in. Consider giving a like on this video. Let's try to get this video to 500 likes. But without further ado, let's talk about the best build for the raid. Now, like I said before, this build is so good because it is really versatile. Now, what makes this build versatile is the fact that you're able to switch weapons around, and any weapon would probably work pretty effective here, but I am going with an AR. Me personally, I think the AR is definitely one of the best weapons in the game. AR or LMG, you're definitely going to want to rock those for, whenever you do a raid. So let's talk about the quick loadout that we have here real quick. We're going to be taking a look at the weapons that we have, starting with my first weapon. Now, this one right here, you're probably wondering, Laser, why are you rocking an ACR when you should be rocking a P416, right? So the reason I was rocking this is because I was doing a couple of testings and I didn't have a P416 with the following talent, which is called Ignited. And before you guys criticize me and say, Laser, why aren't you running Optimus or any other perk? Listen to the build, check it out, and this will make perfect sense for you guys when we get done. So the reason why I wanted to test out Ignited is because it deals 20 plus weapon damage to burning enemies. This is going to be a very key component to this build. We're going to be using a lot of burn, and this is going to be very viable and very important for the raid. Now, in addition to that, we have Optimize, which is our second talent, and we have Recharge, which is our kind of holstered talent. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have plus 25 duration charge and ammo. We're not really paying too much attention to these because these could actually be modified to include better perks or better talents, I should say, but the main one that you want to be looking out for is Ignited. That's the one that you want to keep your eye on. Now, for my secondary weapon, I am running the Merciless, and I know you're probably wondering, Laser, how come you are not running the the Nemesis? Due to the fact that that gives you extra damage on your when you're actually hitting headshots. The reason why we're running the Merciless is for the following talent, which is the holstering talent, which it says, while holster, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal plus 20 damage as explosive damage. This is gonna be making perfect sense with you guys because this one is gonna coincide perfectly with my Ignited talent. So it just works very well. In addition to that, the raid is going to be a type of raid where you're going to have close quarter combats, which is where your AR, and your mid-range combats, which is where your AR is going to be doing the majority of the damage. But there's going to be times within the raid that you're going to have to hit someone a little bit further long distance where your AR is not doing a lot of damage. That is why we went ahead and picked the Merciless, because we're going to be able to have that extra weapon that's going to allow us to deal damage at a longer range. Now, you could definitely swap this with the Nemesis if you guys want, but me personally, since I'm going with this particular talent and this synergy, is the reason why I went that way. Now, for my secondary weapon, I'm using a double-barreled sawed-off with the following perk. Once again, we're running Ignited. Deals plus 20 damage to burning enemies. It has Allegro, which is something I really like. And the other talent that you definitely want to consider, out of all of these, the main one you want to make sure is the holster talent. This is called Protective Reload. While equipped, this weapon grants a plus 10 bonus armor when reloading. So basically what this is going to do, every time you reload, it's going to give you a plus 10 armor. So this is going to be very crucial for this build because this build's main purpose is working on synergy and staying in cover. Now let's take a look at the mask. So for my mask, I have a plus 25 damage to elite. Now if you have a mask that has a better damage to elite, I have one as well, but I'm not rocking that one right now, and I'll let you guys know why in a little bit. If you're rocking something that has a plus 25 damage to elite, anything that has more than 40, more than 35. The God roll is 50, but anything that has less than 50, the higher one that you have, that's the one you want to go with, as long as you're able to keep 8477. The main priority are the blue and the yellow number, the 77. You want to make sure that those two numbers stay the same. The red one could go up, it could go down. It doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that your blue and your yellow do not dip lower than 7. So what we have here is damage to elites plus 25. We get an additional plus 10, so it gives me 35 damage to elites on this mask right here alone. And I'm also getting a plus 228 skill power. In addition to that, I'm also getting a plus 10% skill power with this mask. Now, there are more effective masks I could probably put in here, but I don't want to mess the build too much where it's not having a correct synergy. Now, I went with the talent called Hard Hitting because that's going to give me that plus 10 damage to elites. Remember, we will be fighting yellow bars, and what makes this build beautiful is that we'll have enough damage to deal with elites, and we'll have enough damage to also deal with different AIs. So next up, we're going to be taking a look at our vest. We're running with a Fender's group. We're actually stacking this two Fender's group. One, because it gives us a plus 10 assault rifle damage, and then we also get a 10% protection from elite. So if any time an elite shoots us, we'll be able to be protected. Now, the main thing you want to be focusing on this chest piece is the main talent right here, which is called Unstoppable Force. Killing an enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 25,000 max armor. Unstoppable Force is going to be a very key component to this build, and it's going to actually be very effective and work in perfect synergy with this build. Now, for our second talent, we have Hard Hitting. Hard Hitting, I mean, I like it because it gives us that damage to elite, but you could roll with anything else. I do believe the raid's going to have a lot of yellow bars, so we want to make sure we have enough damage that we're dealing to, to elites. As far as my attributes here, you mainly want to be looking for anything that has like this type of synergy with a blue, a red, and a yellow, because you're going to be able to actually move and expand the critical hit damage with the new recalibrating system, and you're also able to move and expand the skill power with the new recalibration system. So this should be a very viable option. Now on this one, I also have a defense mod on here applied, which is on my secondary slot, but we should be good to go. Now, as far as the holster is concerned, I am running a Petrov. Now, I wish I could be running, if you're able to run a another Fender's group, then I would go with the Fender's group. That's going to give you that plus 10 assault rifle damage. So we're getting 10% from one piece, we're getting 10% from another one, and another 10%. If you're able to get all three of them, then you'll be getting 30%. Me, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find one that works very well. As you guys see right here, if I were to equip this one, it would drop me to a 4, 6, 7, and I can't go below 7. So you want to make sure you have that in mind. But if you have a Fender's group that you could put in this spot, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have that one. So right now I'm running a Petrov with plus 10 LMG damage. I'm not running an LMG, so it's not really benefiting me as much. The only reason I'm running this is because this is actually going to, just keeps my build alive. But I would definitely, if I could, I would run this one right here. Not only am I getting a plus 15 headshot damage, but I'm also getting that assault rifle damage. So that's what I would go with for the holster. Now for the backpack, this is where you really need to pay attention, because this is where it's very important. You're going to make sure you run a backpack that has the following talent. The main talent you're looking for is, is On the Ropes. On the Ropes is going to be a very predominant talent for this build. It's going to be kind of like what keeps this build alive. The reason why is you're going to be relying in a lot of cover in the raid. You're not going to be running around, especially in the airport. You do not want to be taking bullets while you're running around. You want to make sure you're in cover. And what makes this a very good build is the fact that the On the Ropes works in perfect harmony and synergy with the other talents we have, not only in our weapons, but also talents that we have within our gear. On the Ropes, what it does is says weapon damage is increased by plus 25 while all skills are on cooldown. So that means your weapon damage will be getting increased every time by 25%, guys. That's 25% increase while all your skills are on cooldown. Now, you will be using your skills very often. Now, we're going to be talking about the skills later along in the video, but you're going to be using them very frequently, and they're going to be in a very active cooldown. So you're going to be able to trigger On the Ropes very often. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. And for my second talent, I have Hard Hitting. This is a Gilligard, and of course, on here, I'm able to pop, I'm running 2 blues, 1 red. And remember, you want to modify anything that you can to increase the health, armor, or critical hit chance if you can with the new recal system. And of course, I have two other weapons mod slots here, which I have a defensive one and I have a utility one. So that is what we have in the backpack. But being sure you want to make sure that you have on the ropes. As for my gloves are concerned, we're running a Gilligard as well, getting that total armor +5 from the backpack, and then we're getting the +20 hazard protection from the gloves. Now the hazard protection is, remember, we are going to be getting a lot of damage from hazardous items within the raid. You could expect burning damage. You could expect the whole sort of hazard protection stuff, and it's sometimes it gets underrated, especially in PvE. And it's highly something I recommend. Anytime you can get hazard protection, highly recommend you guys get it. But what we have here for attributes, we have a health attribute and we have a skill power attribute. So we have 1 blue, 2 yellows. And for our talent, we're running Devastating. Devastating is actually a really good one because it's going to give you that +5 weapon damage. And you can't really go wrong with any sort of weapon damage. The only thing you could probably switch around here is something like Precise, giving you that 15 headshot damage if you guys don't like Devastating. Or you could also go with Hard Hitting, giving you that extra elite damage. But as long as you have something like Devastating or Precise or Hard Hitting is what you're looking for, that works very perfectly with this build. Last but not least, guys, we're going to be taking a look at our knee pads. And our knee pads is actually one of my favorite knee pads. This is a Fender's group, and what I love about the Fender's group is that it comes with 2 talents, and on top of that, it's giving me that +10 assault rifle damage, so it's giving me an additional one since I'm running 2 of them. And if I were running 3, it would give me a +20 health on kill, so that's a really good attribute, right? But what I like about these is the fact that we have the following talents. We have Hard Hitting, which I'm getting that 10% damage to elites. And I'm also running one of the main requirements for this build, which is Patience. Now, the reason why Patience is such a big requirement here is because this is where you're going to be getting the majority of your health and armor back. Patience is going to be very detrimental to this build. It's going to be one of the key components. It's kind of like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. You need the bread, you need the peanut butter, and you need the jelly. And once you have all of those working together, we have complete synergy. And we're going to be talking about what's synergizing with everything. So Patience, #1 talent you should be looking out. You could definitely go with something that doesn't have multiple talents. As long as you have Patience, you guys should be good with this build. Now, like I said, guys, just a quick note. Please remember, you want to make sure your build stays at 7 or higher with the blues and the yellows. And with the red, you could do whatever you guys want. You could go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you are. The highest you're able to get it. Or, whatever lower amount that it goes, it doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure you have those, those 2 7s right there or higher. Now let's talk about the peanut butter jelly sandwich. What are we talking about here? So we're talking about 3 perks. We're talking about Unstoppable Force. It's going to work perfectly for you guys. So when you're killing the enemy, it grants 2% weapon damage for every max armor that you're losing. And we're going to be triggering on the ropes, which is going to be giving us weapon damage. It's going to be giving us an increase of weapon damage, a +25, while all skills are on cooldown. So, like I said, you want to make sure you're using your skills. And, of course, we are running Patience, which is going to be restoring our armor, by 5% every 5 seconds while we're in cover. We're going to be using cover quite frequently, as you're seeing here in the gameplay. It's very predominant that you use the cover, and it's going to be a lifesaver for you guys. So, talking about skills. Now, skills, I am running a turret. Now, the reason why I am running a turret, because remember what I said in the beginning about our weapon, how we're running Ignite? Well, Ignite is going to be a very key component that's going to give us that additional boost of damage that we're not getting from our weapon. So, from our weapon particularly right now, we're shooting pretty high base damage, but what's going to boost us a 20% is going to be the flamethrower. So, we're going to be using the flamethrower. Trust me, guys, you guys are not going to regret using the flamethrower. The flamethrower is going to be your friend in need in this raid. The reason why is it's going to allow you to control massive amounts of groups. In addition to that, it's going to give you that additional boost of damage when you're shooting enemies that have fire, that are caught on fire. And you're also going to be able to proc that fire perk with the merciless weapon. So now for our second skill, we're going to be running the Seeker Mine. And I know what you guys might be thinking. You're like, Laser, why aren't you running the Chem Launcher? Now the reason why we are not running the Chem Launcher, I believe the Chem Launcher, after the nerf where you have to double tap it now, it kind of messed up the rhythm that you have when using it. And I believe the Seeker Mine is a little bit more effective due for a couple reasons. One, it follows you. Number 2, you're just able to drop it and forget about it. You don't have to worry about any sort of thing that you have to stay in place. You can move around with it and still get healed in a different area. As opposed to the cam launcher, you have to stay put in place in order to move. So if someone's flanking you or you need to move from like a corner, you can easily swivel around and not have to worry that you're not getting healed, with the cam launcher. With this one, you actually have it following. And the cool thing about this one is its cooldown reduction. It's going to allow us to actually, proc on the ropes more frequently than we would if we were using something with it that has more ammo and has a lower cooldown reduction. Now remember, what makes this build amazing is the fact that you won't be relying too much on these kind of on your seeker mind healing you, because you're going to be proccing patience, and patience is going to be doing all the healing for you guys, so you really don't have to worry that much when it comes, but it's always viable to have something that heals you. Now the reason why we're running the survivalist is for a couple reasons. It's going to give us additional perks for our seeker mind. It's also going to give us additional perks for our AR, which we're currently using. And we're also going to be able to do and use the bow. Now the bow is going to be very predominant because it's also considered like it also does explosive damage. So that ignite perk that we're using with the AR is also going to proc when we shoot someone. And on top of that, which is kind of like the key component and key factor of this build, is that we're able to use incendiary grenades when we have the specialist. Now specialist, remember guys, it's going to allow us to use the flame grenades or the incendiary grenades. Incendiary grenades are thrown and you're able to output damage to the enemy, a plus 20% damage, since we're using that ignite perk. Now remember guys, this is me personally. I believe fire is going to be a very predominant option for the raid. You could go with a different perk if you guys don't like ignite. I do like that additional 20% damage. I think it's a very large amount of damage and percentile that we're getting just from our AR, in addition to what our AR is already doing. And I believe it's going to be a key factor when it comes to the raid. And there you guys have it. That is the best raid build. Test it out before you guys comment in the comment section down below. It doesn't work, I don't like it. Test it out, and trust me guys, you guys won't regret it. Trust me when I say this. Let me know in the comment section down below if you would change a couple things from this build. If you would, what are they? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys are planning on doing the raid, also let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know what console. If you guys are on the Xbox One and need people to do the raid with, I am looking for people to do the raid with tomorrow. So if you guys want to do me a huge favor, join my Discord channel. The link is down below, and let's try to get something organized so we could get that raid completed. I do hope you guys did find this video helpful and informative. If you did, guys, do me the huge favor, drop a like, share this video with your friends, because it does help me a lot. If you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you do, make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified when Division 2 videos go live. If you're already a subscriber, please guys double check to make sure you guys have that notification bell ticked. If you guys want to show additional love and support and want to get some amazing benefits, guys, consider becoming a member of the LaserBolt channel. Look down below and you'll see a join button. Click that and join the Bolt Nation family. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget WGATAP, and I will catch you guys on the next video.